Shedeur Sanders rising while Dillon Gabriel keeps falling. Two quarterbacks, one training camp, and a growing gap that no one can ignore. It started quietly, just routine drills, a few early reps. But behind the scenes, something was shifting. One QB came in 40 minutes early, laser-focused. The other, throwing picks and losing trust fast. And now, fans, reporters, even teammates are starting to notice what's really happening at Browns training camp. The truth isn't just in the stats, it's in the tension, the tape, and the silence from coaches who suddenly stopped defending one of their own. Day 8 of Browns training camp kicked off like any other. Helmets on, pads clashing, and quarterbacks lining up for reps. But beneath the surface, the energy felt different. Shedeur Sanders showed up 40 minutes early, again. Not once, not twice. This has been his routine. Quiet, focused, clocked in before the lights were even fully on. And people around the facility are starting to notice. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel stepped into the day with something to prove and immediately fell flat. 2 passes in, and he's already missing reads. It's not just about the mistakes, it's about how fast those mistakes pile up when the pressure kicks in. Gabriel, once considered a serious contender, suddenly looks out of rhythm. Then there's Joe Flacco. The veteran's presence brings stability, but even he wasn't flawless. A red zone touchdown was followed by a near pick that could have flipped the momentum. Still, he held steady. But all eyes quietly kept drifting back to Shedeur. He wasn't throwing bombs or dominating headlines yet. What he was doing, though, was executing. Clean throws, smart decisions, steady progression. The kind of play that earns respect, not attention. And by the end of the day, it was clear. Something was shifting. While most rookies wait for opportunities, Shedeur is forcing the coach's hands. He started camp buried in the third-team offense, barely on the radar. But now, he's quietly climbing. On day 8, he moved the chains with a smooth connection to Gage, followed by a perfectly timed play-action strike that stretched the field. It wasn't flashy, but it was clean, efficient, smart, and that's exactly what the Browns have been missing. It's becoming impossible to ignore how composed he looks in the pocket. No panic, no wasted motion, just calm, decisive football. And for a guy still technically at the bottom of the depth chart, he's looking more polished than some of the names ahead of him. What's more telling is how the reps are shifting. While Dillon Gabriel continues to slip, Shedeur is seeing more time with the second-team offense. That's no accident. NFL coaching staffs don't hand out reps. They're earned. And right now, Shedeur's doing exactly that. He may not be the loudest player on the field, but his impact is getting louder by the day. And if this trend continues, he's not just gonna climb the depth chart, he's gonna crash the quarterback conversation entirely. Every training camp has a breaking point. And for Dillon Gabriel, it might have come sooner than anyone expected. He started the day with a shot at redemption, first-team reps, open routes, and a chance to quiet the critics. Instead, chaos. One pass, tipped and picked. Another nearly sent his receiver to the hospital. And a third, just plain baffling. A cross-field throw into traffic that had everyone shaking their heads. Reporters on the ground didn't hold back. One called it Gabriel's worst session of the entire camp. Another said he looked flustered and inaccurate. And the tape doesn't lie. His footwork was sloppy, his decisions late, and his reads all over the place. Meanwhile, the coaching staff stayed quiet. No explanations, no public defense, just silent adjustments. By the end of practice, Gabriel was working with the third team. Again. The bigger issue? It's not just about bad throws, it's about trust. And right now, it looks like the staff is losing it. Fans have started to notice too. Comment sections are lighting up with questions. Why is he still getting reps? What do they see in him? At this point, even that answer seems unclear. And what came next only made the gap wider. By the end of day 8, the rotation board told a different story. Shedeur Sanders, once stuck behind both Gabriel and Flacco, was now splitting time with the second team. Gabriel, on the other hand, was back with the third string, left watching reps slip away like sand through his fingers. The shift wasn't announced. No press conference, no dramatic reveal. But everyone paying attention saw it for what it was. The coaches were showing their hand. There's a quiet language in NFL practices. Who gets snaps, where they line up, how often their name gets called. It all says more than the sound bites in interviews. And this move? It screamed confidence in Shedeur and growing doubt in Gabriel. Even fans in the comments section picked up on it. Looks like QB12 has passed Gabriel, one wrote. Another chimed in, he hasn't done anything with those reps anyway. The consensus was clear. The trust was shifting, and it wasn't just about arm strength or mechanics. It was about control, leadership, and reliability. The quarterback battle wasn't over, but the momentum had officially turned. And while Gabriel stumbled, Shedeur was quietly making his move towards something bigger. While Shedeur climbed and Gabriel slipped, Joe Flacco stayed right in the middle. The veteran presence, the steady hand. But if the Browns were hoping for a breakout from the former Super Bowl MVP, they didn't get it. Flacco's Day 8 was, at best, uneventful. One red zone touchdown, that's the good news. But he also threw what could have been a costly interception, saved only by Greg Newsome not finishing the play. That kind of inconsistency has followed Flacco since his return to the league. One solid drive, then a baffling decision. A moment of brilliance, then a head-scratching throw. It's not that he's bad, it's that he's predictable, safe. And in a training camp full of shifting momentum, Flacco just hovered. But maybe that's the plan. He's not here to win the job outright. He's here to stabilize the room, to be the insurance policy. And right now, his quiet, middle-of-the-road performances are buying time for the Browns to figure out what they really have in Sanders and Gabriel. Still, as the competition heats up, playing it safe might not be enough, because the next few days could change everything. While others stumbled, Shedeur Sanders was all business, and it showed. He arrived at camp early, again, 40 minutes before the first whistle, helmet in hand, eyes locked in. No theatrics, no media soundbites, just quiet confidence. And once practice started, that focus translated into something impossible to ignore. Sanders took the field with the third team and immediately delivered. A clean sled to Gage moved the chains, followed by a play-action deep shot that stretched the field like none of the other QBs could manage. The throw wasn't just accurate, it had intent, power, timing, something the Browns haven't seen consistently since, well, no one's really sure. That's what set him apart. It wasn't just the throws, it was the energy. The offense moved with him under center. Players looked more alive. Reps felt sharper. And the staff, they were watching closely. By the end of the session, Sanders had earned second-team reps. That might not sound dramatic, but in a league where opportunity is everything, it was massive. He didn't just play well, he forced the rotation to shift. And with another practice on the horizon, one question was starting to rise inside the facility. Is this the moment Shedeur starts his takeover? By day 8, the doubts surrounding Dillon Gabriel weren't just speculation. They were backed up on tape. It started with one bad throw, then another. Before long, it was a pattern. Gabriel's passes were late, off target, or downright dangerous. One crossfield pass nearly got his receiver sent to the hospital, thrown directly into a defender's path, forcing Luke Florio to absorb a brutal hit. That wasn't a one-off mistake. It was a lack of awareness, and it showed. And then came the interception. On a downfield attempt, the ball tipped off Nick Needham's hands and landed right in the arms of Layman James. The kind of pick that raises eyebrows on the sideline, not just because it was careless, but because it felt avoidable. Gabriel looked rattled, confused by defensive shifts, flustered by pressure. And it wasn't just fans noticing. Reporters on the ground called it his worst session of camp so far. Even Brown's film breakdown, a trusted analyst close to the team, didn't hold back, calling Gabriel's performance flustered and inaccurate. And this wasn't during some throwaway drill. This was a team session. These were the reps that mattered. With every missed read and erratic throw, Gabriel's window was closing. And the coaches were watching it all happen in real time. With training camp barreling forward, nothing is set in stone, but momentum is shifting. Shedeur Sanders isn't just gaining reps, he's gaining belief from teammates, from coaches, from fans watching every clip, every pass, every quiet step forward. He's doing what every young quarterback dreams of, turning opportunity into leverage. Joe Flacco? He remains the steady fallback, doing just enough to stay relevant, but not enough to dominate. He's the safety net, not the spark. And Dillon Gabriel? He's running out of time. The leash is shortening. Every snap feels heavier, and every misstep puts him closer to the back of the line. The Browns may keep rotating quarterbacks for now, but decisions are coming, fast. Because next week, it gets real. The team will face the Carolina Panthers in joint practice, an environment where intensity triples and pretenders get exposed. There are no excuses, no second chances, just live reps against unfamiliar faces. And in that storm, only one question matters: who will rise and who will disappear?